arrangements. And unfortunately, she ended up not even going to college. Then I know a situation where a young lady was taken out of a school, a high school in a predominantly black and Hispanic, black and brown neighborhood, and was put into a Catholic school. When she left the public school, high school, she was over a 3.0. When she got to the Catholic high school, she was behind academically because the classes that they offered at the Catholic school, they did not offer them at the school in her neighborhood, her home school. So no, she didn't know that she needed to go take it maybe at a junior college or something like that. So as a result, when she went to the Catholic high school, she became a D fail when she was really like an AB student and more A's than B's when she was at the school in her neighborhood. Then she was sent back to her neighborhood school because to avoid her failing that year, because she was putting so much effort into trying to pass, it was just not working because it was too much she had to catch up on. It was certain academia, certain subject matters that she hadn't even touched on because it wasn't even offered at her school. But yet, when you try to put your children in a different this school district that doesn't align with your neighborhood, then they're not letting you in, or they're not letting you come to the school, or you have to lie. And if you lie, we didn't even talk about that. There's a whole law that they're putting you in jail because you put your kids in another school district that has more opportunities. So then that's a setup. So you got to leave your child in the neighborhood that doesn't have the proper academia, which, you know, things that will help you to succeed in life, the education, the character building, all those things that you get in school. They're missing that opportunity. So when they become adults, then yes, of course they're going to have all these issues. You know, so...
Yeah, so going back to that point, as far as them going to jail, it's in certain states because they want their child, black child, we're making an emphasis on that because we're talking about systematic racism, the difference between black and white. They use somebody else's address so that their child can go to a better school, and then when you find out in certain states, they will go to jail because they're saying they're lying because they're not living there. And they feel like they got to do what they got to do. And I think last week when we were talking about you can be criminalized in California. It's just we don't have any cases because people ain't been caught or they haven't taken it to that, because there's a law in place that says it. There's an actual law. I looked it up, and I was like 2 5 to be tired that they had a law that you can be arrested if you put your child in a school in another district. I could not believe it. I'm like, all these criminals out here. Yeah, because I didn't know. So thank you for the clarification, because I know it is a law, but I didn't know if it was specifically in our state. But I know it's in another state.
Yeah,
so
it's here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on, but going back to the school situation, civil rights, Thurgood Marshall, Brown versus the Board of Education, civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King, John Lewis fought for all this stuff for us to be able to be equal, but we're not, to be able to go to school with whites, and 58 years later, and we're still going through it. The other thing about the school system is, depending on what neighborhood you're living in, you're going to have the hand-me-down books. But you go over there, I'm just got to be real, speak the truth. You go over there in the Caucasian white neighborhood, as Ms. Vicky Politically Correct said, they're going to have more money over there, and they're going to have better books. The schools, buildings are going to be a lot better than, you go to school in the hood. Okay.
But also, the politics about that, I just want to mention the part that's not being spoken of is the fact that the reason why they're able to get those kind of materials is because the money is in that neighborhood. So everybody, it's like a exclusive, area. Okay. Where everybody, and they only want certain folk to live over there,
Mhm.
but they are taxpayers, and their taxpayer dollars are going towards the education over there. So it's not
That's
that the government is sending, special money in those areas. But the systematic part of it is how they setting it up that they only their people is able to
right.
be over in those areas, or a limited amount of black and brown can be there.
Systematic racism is alive and well, and like I
They
said
don't want to
earlier,
partner up with us.
yeah,
Those
like
people
I
that are
said,
doing that, they don't want to partner up with us.
yes, like we said earlier, this ain't about no feelings or our feelings being hurt or what we believe. This is real stuff, data backing it up. One more thing before we leave. I also want to share about this report, and we're going to end it right here. Because you talked about a lot of stuff, so if you want to know more, you can look it up. But I just wanted to add, when it comes to the schools and criminal justice system, that's another system that is totally, totally systematic racism. He mentioned that when kids go to school, black and white, if a white child gets in trouble, according to his research and his story, they just send them to the principal's office. Okay, but if it's a black child, they get suspended. They most likely gonna get suspended, expelled, and sent to juvenile hall. Systematic racism is alive and well, and it's just not fair. So I'll be glad when some people really understand that this is alive and well, and that this is an issue, and it needs to stop. Also, criminal justice, when there's talking about blacks and whites in jail or Latinos in jail. Since this Black Lives Matter has really taken off again because of George Floyd's murder, here in Long Beach, it was an article, because I live here in Long Beach, saying, I think it's all around, but I'm going to just say Long Beach because that's the people that did the article recently. Policemen are most likely going to stop a black person. Take that to the bank. And that ain't nothing new. We already know that, but I'm just saying for it to be in black and white ink. That's a whole other conversation. So, we have discussed systematic racism quite a bit. So, I hope you guys got a lot of information. And we may talk about it in the future, because this situation here is not going nowhere. And we're going to come back. We're going to try to move on and talk about another social issue. Let's see. Ms. Vicky, is there anything you want to say before we close?
No, yeah. I just wanted to close the subject matter on a lighter note, or a higher note. Even though all this stuff, all these hidden evils have been going on, for some of us it's hidden, some of us been knew about it. There are good white people.
Yes.
I have a lot of I've run across a lot of whites that are not a part of that mindset. At least,
yes.
I hope not anyway, but it appears they're not. But they can't. What am I trying to say? It's not their fault that they came from such a nest. That
right.
they were a seed from some of these people. It's not their fault that, their parents or their grandparents thought that way, or, because some of them still have parents, a family that still think that way.
Yeah.
I heard a lady tell me, we discussed a Caucasian white lady that owns a transitional home in the hood, on a couple of them, but she came from racist, so she's not necessarily racist, but her parents are, and because her parents were racist, like hardcore racist, some of the terminology, some of her expression comes from them, but she don't mean no harm. It's like that's where she came from, and she may say, oh, my father used to do this, or my mother, whatever the case may be. But I'm saying that not to give excuse for anybody, to say racist comments or anything like that, but I'm saying that she, a lot of times white people can't, it's not their fault that they came from that type of family. And there are some good people out there. Everybody's not racist.
Right, I agree.
Everybody's
I just
not
want to
racist.
add to that part, though. It's like, okay, yes, they're, family members were like that, and then they were raised like that, and I'll give them a pass to a certain degree. It's like, okay, you don't know? Okay. But once you know, then you have a decision to make. Are you going to continue to walk that out like your parents or your grandparents, or are you going to make a decision to be, I'm not going to be that way? So, yes, there are white folks that are not racist, and even with this Black Lives Matter protest going on, there have been whites and other races that have come along with us, and they did that in the 1960s. They did it in 92 during the riots with Rodney King. So I'm not saying that it don't exist. I'm just saying that this situation with George Floyd's murder kind of just was like a wake-up call for some that really didn't understand and know the dynamic of our history, because I'm dealing with that right now, where there are people in the environments that I'm in actually coming up and saying, we really want to know. We really want to know what you guys went through, because we have no clue. So this is a time for us to educate for those that really want to know, who are concerned, why we feel what we feel and what we're going through. So I just wanted to, put that out. Thank you for clarifying that, Ms. Vicki. And by all means, Vicki and I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. We're just sharing. We're just speaking truth based on what we see as an educational awareness and empowerment tool. We're not, saying we don't like this, we don't like that. That's not what we're doing. That's not what Tunnel Vision is about. We're just educating, bringing awareness and empowerment. What you do with that information is on you. So, and on that note, I also wanted to share, because we haven't done it in a while. So I wanted to share our social.
We have 3 minutes.
Yes, I see the clock. Thank you. What I tell y'all?
Okay.
What I tell y'all later? What I tell y'all earlier, listeners? She was going to be on me about the time. Okay. Divine Victory Ministries is our Facebook page. Our Twitter page is DVM418, and our Instagram is Divine Victory Ministries. So in our email, we have 2 emails. One for our nonprofit / ministry, Divine Victory Productions @gmail.com. We love to hear from you. And also for our podcast, Tunnel Vision 4949 @gmail.com. So continue to listen. Shoot us a text, a note, tell your friends, and be involved as much as you can. Let your voice be heard in a positive way, to the best of your ability, as John Lewis said. One more quote from John Lewis, and then we're going to have our music moment.
Amen, amen.
John Lewis, another quote: never give up, never give in, never become hostile. Hate is too big of a burden to bear. I love that. And on that note, we're going to be out.
It take up too much energy to hate.
I'm telling you. I never really thought about that until I saw that quote. I'm like, that is real for real. Okay, here we go. We're going to go off with our song, Make Peace, Make Peace. Make peace this week.
Make peace.
It was war about a week ago. They shot my man, I was with him about a week ago. In my city, round the city, we should stop that. Keep losing, trying to win with the get back. Don't you see where that gets us? Who's cooler? There's a body, there's a shooter. There's a man without a future, now his homies out to get ya. And the cycle just continues if we only just remember that we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and